Harry's Wife, Part 75.2. Who does she think she is? We turn now to the Express newspaper. As always, the veracity of the material I leave to you, and I provide you with the analysis. The Express doesn't like Harry's wife, and is pro-Queen, and was always obsessed with Diana. And this is a further opportunity to wrap the knuckles, wrist slap, Harry's wife for something that she did recently. The headline of the article from the Express states, "Who does she think she is? Britons lash out at Harry's wife for weighing in on serious issue." An article by James Bickerton tells us Harry's wife has come under fire for releasing a joint statement with her husband, Prince Harry, after Afghanistan fell to the Taliban last month. And of course, I talked about the hypocrisy and the sheer idiocy of this statement and how it was, I believe, the common parlance, tone deaf with regard to the individuals affected by it while sitting in a multi-million-pound, 27,000 toilet flushing mansion in Monty Shitshow. The Express, however, isn't letting this one go, and explains the Duke and Duchess said they were in many layers of pain due to the situation in Afghanistan. Grandiosity, false empathy. Whilst Harry served in Afghanistan with the British Army, critics asked why Harry's wife also attached her name to the statement. Well, she did so for the purpose of assertion of control, drawing of fuel, and facade management, three aspects of the prime aims. Speaking to Express.co.uk, Lee Cohen, senior fellow of the Bow Group think tank, urged her to stick to Hollywood gossip, asking why would serious people even tune in? Well, they wouldn't. But remember, she thinks that she is able to issue a pronouncement on absolutely anything. Price of cheese gone up? Harry's wife, the expert, will tell you all about it. Crisis in the Middle East? She has the solution. Parachute her in. She'll solve it in 6 hours flat. Difficulty with the world supply chain at the moment? Don't worry, I'm a logistics expert. I'll solve this. And this is, of course, typical of many narcissists that, in essence, try and extend their reach and fail. They don't have the ability to back it up. Certain of our kind do, and you're familiar with that. Many of our kind are, in fact, excellent achievers. But there are also a huge amount of our kind who aren't, and think that they are able to do certain things, and they don't. You'll have witnessed this with particular narcissists at work, who are known as Billy Bullshit, who have been over-promoted, they don't have the ability to do their role, and they steal the credit from other people, they delegate, basically getting everybody else to make the tough decisions, and they shirk responsibility. Others take on the responsibility but make a complete Horlicks of it, fucking it up left, right and centre in a ham-fisted manner. Often upper lessers, particularly the type B, behave in that way. The wrecking ball. I know how this is done. I'm the expert. Listen to me. I know all about the way this should be sorted out. Don't listen to him. Listen to me. And then cue disaster at every turn. Not that the upper lesser type B would see it that way. Accordingly, Harry's wife, as a consequence of her delusions, her sense of grandiosity, and of course her need to pursue the prime aims, believes that she is entitled and also in a position to comment on everything that occurs. She, of course, believes that she's empathic. She believes that she has this authentic, organic empathy for all of these causes, not realising that this is just her narcissism in action. The article continues. The remark struck a chord with Express.co.uk readers who urged the couple to avoid commenting on world politics. One commented, "Who does she think she is?" 1 minute she is a C-rate actress. Oh, she's been promoted from D-rate. Then 2 minutes later an expert on world affairs. She is dreaming. Another added, "Even Hollywood doesn't want to hear from her. If they carry on the way they are going, they will both implode." A third wrote, "Overnight, Markle goes from actress with no platform to duchess with enormous reach." Indeed, why do you think her narcissism gravitated towards her ensnaring a prince? Has she changed? No. Is she more qualified? No. Is she a world leader? No. A fourth said, "We know they're global leaders and influencers because they keep telling us so. making grand announcements about things they know nothing about, and out of proportion rage against any media who calls them out. Those, of course, are just anecdotal snippets, but it demonstrates that there are people, and many of you comment here, that see straight through what it's about, that they see the lack of expertise. They don't understand why they feel a need to make announcements about such things. And of course, her narcissism isn't sufficiently evolved so that she can do it in a manner which is convincing, so that people think, well, actually, yes, this is something that she's commented on quite appropriately. She's blundered in there, driven by her narcissism, seeking fuel, seeking to bolster her facade, residual benefit, and of course to assert control. And the grandiosity of it has caused her to issue this statement, which has been roundly ridiculed. Of course, the demented shuggers will think she is our princess, such a heroine, caring for those poor people in Afghanistan. She doesn't give a flying fuck about them. She just believes that she does. Has she done anything to help them? No. Has she donated huge sums of money to assist? No. She just sits and issues a diktat in the usual way. And as I've explained earlier, when I was talking about the 40-40 future faking, it's very easy to keep making these pronouncements and then doing nothing about it. It's all about the words which gain the prime aims without the necessity of actually having to put anything else into action. People see through the hypocrisy and the lack of expertise, but they don't actually realise what's behind it. They don't realise that it's narcissism in action. You, of course, all listening, do. But it is interesting because whilst these instances are, of course, purely anecdotal, it does demonstrate that there is a growing body of individuals that realise that she behaves in a manner which they don't like. They see it as grandiose, that she has a trumped up sense of importance. And this Afghanistan statement was a cock-up by her narcissism. She can't see it because the narcissism will protect her. If someone was to say to her, you shouldn't be commenting on these things, you know nothing about it, and you don't do anything really, she will either just ignore them in order to assert control, or will point out that she does truly believe that there are things that she can do and that she can help, and she sees that it is her role in order to comment upon these things. She will say, if people like me don't make such announcements, where will the world be? She is self-appointed moral arbiter of all things woke. She comes from the queendom of wokedom, where she has become self-appointed head of this particular queendom. Harry was lieutenant and intimate partner primary source has been roped in that regard. She doesn't see that there is a gap between her pronouncements and her expertise. She doesn't see that she shouldn't really be commenting about these things, and it's best left to people who actually know something about the situation and are in a position to actually bring some influence to bear. She thinks that she can bring influence to bear. She thinks that she is entitled to make these pronouncements because her narcissism makes her believe it. As I've said before, she is a legend in her own lunchtime, in her own mind. And therefore, the Express has picked up upon this and its readers, and of course has issued this for a purpose of lambasting them about it. The article continues. The Taliban surge across Afghanistan last month, capturing the capital Kabul on August 15th. Western nations responded with a desperate airlift for their nationals and Afghan allies from Kabul International Airport. Following the Taliban victory, the Sussexes commented, "The world is exceptionally fragile right now. As we all feel the many layers of pain due to the situation in Afghanistan, we are left speechless. As we all watch the growing humanitarian disaster in Haiti and the threat of it worsening after last weekend's earthquakes, we are left heartbroken. And as we all witness the continuing global health crisis exacerbated by new variants and constant misinformation, we are left scared. When any person or community suffers, a piece of each of us does so with them, whether we realise it or not. And though we are not meant to live in a state of suffering, we, as a people, are being conditioned to accept it." Utter asinine marshmallow fluff tripe. The article continues with basically more mention of what they've done in the past, but Were Harry's wife to read this, of course, this would amount to challenge fuel. She would receive fuel from the words that are written, but it challenges her by suggesting that she's not best placed to make these comments. In the circumstances, she's not going to contact the Express directly to lambast them. Instead, she will assert indirect control by smearing them, complaining to Harry and her flunkies. So the Express lands a few blows on her, but it's not getting any better for her. Because what's this coming over the horizon? It's something from Newsweek, which tells us that people don't really like Harry and Harry's wife much at all. Join me in part 75.3 as we explore why and also how would that be received.